Technically speaking, I could have included this first bit of raw footage with the previous clip since I ended up fast-forwarding through a vast majority of it. We are once again going through a section of a Metroid game where I make little to no progress as I wander around, trying to figure out what to do next and at best, just stumble onto smaller upgrades like missile expansions and energy tanks. Granted, every little bit helps, especially when you don't know when the next obscenely difficult challenge is coming. Still, this is a long stretch of time where the only challenge is in navigation. And that's hard to feel especially invested in when you're doing commentary. Especially when there are so many factors that make the game feel all the more grindy than the first Metroid Prime. If I remember correctly, we only have one of the 3 keys for this Bog's temple so far. And there's one other section to go through where we're going to need to find 3 keys in order to unlock a temple to get a chance to fight that arena boss. To add to that, I'm worried that we're going to have to do a longer search for keys to find whatever we might need to open the final area of the game, just like we had to do in the first Metroid Prime. I'm kind of hoping I'm wrong about that one, though. Well, at least we sometimes get the energy from alternate beams when we kill an enemy instead of just when we can destroy crates or whatever the hell we want to call them at the moment. Not that we really found any enemies worth pulling out a different beam for the dark beam. They're either explicitly weak to the light beam or they're just damage sponges. Right, here's hoping that beyond the light door there's going to be some measure of progress. Bloody hell, considering the fact that the missile doors, regardless of what kind, completely shatter once we blast them open, I'm annoyed that we have to keep using dark and light energy just to open these doors. Especially since, similar to missiles, these things have a limited amount of ammo. Not that we've found anything that could be an ammo expansion for the light or dark beams yet, though there certainly seems to be enough space on that bar to imply we're supposed to be able to grab several upgrades along those lines somewhere. How did I not notice that thing to scan down there before? Granted, it's not anything especially important or interesting to read, but still, just because I've never gotten 100% on any of the Metroid games we've done, doesn't mean I don't try to keep an eye on our surroundings. It's just that something about this game in particular makes it tougher for me to pay attention to things for some reason. Or is it just the nature of longer games where you have moments of paying more or less attention in a given session? Yeah, it's impossible for me to tell from where I'm sitting right now. Okay, for some reason I was expecting to see a grapple point if I shot those things down from those branches. I suppose that was just wishful thinking. Yeah, whatever it is I need to do, I can't do it from here. Annoying, since there are 2 pathways we haven't explored yet that are connected to this rather larger, again, I kind of want to say room, but it just doesn't feel like the right term considering there's no roof over our heads. But with the gate, just dividing areas like this, can you really call it anything other than a room? I know, the terminology for where we are doesn't really matter all that much. It just gives me something to talk about to help burn away some more time on the clock here as we keep trying to find our way forward, and I just stumble around aimlessly. There doesn't seem to be anything we can do from here as far as I can tell. Am I just not looking at things from the right angle, or was it a waste of time to even try to find anything here at the moment? At the very least, the charge beam has been getting a good deal more exercise in this game than the previous one, both in terms of drawing in items and doing a good amount of damage in a single hit. It still kind of feels like the power beam in general is weaker than it was in either of the other currently released Metroid Prime titles. Yeah. Not worth it to deal with two of those bastards at once, especially when I'm starved for progress. Though considering I've gained a major item in the previous clip, and another major item in the clip before that, maybe, starved isn't the right word. I'd still like to see more tangible proof that we're pushing forward bit by bit, though. Nothing we can do about that yellow door just yet, though I think I remember something being close to said door. An energy tank just waiting on the other side of a gap we're supposed to swing over. Now, if only the healing fields in the game didn't make having multiple energy tanks feel just a little bit more ridiculous. Sure, our previous boss managed to take us down a tank in half, despite the constant healing rate, but still, I never once felt any worry when dealing with him. Hell, I felt more worried dealing with the damn fish before him, and that thing only had 2 attacks, ramming right into us, or spitting at us from a distance, neither of which really scream epic boss to me. Granted, you don't necessarily have to make a boss complicated to make them interesting to fight, but it doesn't hurt. I'm not even sure why I bother killing some of the enemies we run across in this game. Maybe it's simply reflex based on the sheer number of other action-oriented games I typically do. Or maybe I just need something to do, other than just run from point to point and figure things out. Something more active than pure navigation. Sure, the healing fields help make some of these fights pretty damn mindless in their own right, but still, at least I'm doing more than running around and looking for some hint that I'm going the right way. Right, the lasers are certainly going to slow us down, as if we don't have enough things spread across this game to slow us down as a whole. Well, it's not like I'm trying to beat any kind of speed record. In fact, I probably missed that chance quite a while ago with the stumbling around I've been doing. Right, and we're clear enough to open the next door without getting cut apart. Now let's see just what this new hallway has in store for us. Right, so we've got some more raw phazon on the ground. Not that we're able to scan it. Oh dear, this looks suspiciously like the place where we had to bring the various keys in the first Metroid Prime. this game didn't have enough of a tedious fetch quest when we have to look for 3 keys for each of the 3 temples we have to deal with. Frankly, I don't give a damn about the failure of the Luminoth cadres in battle. What I care about are the failures of the game designers, considering the number of ways this game just feels like they learned the wrong lessons from the first Metroid Prime, or they were just in a hurry to release the second game and give it as much time as they could, despite the rush job. Oh, for fuck's sake. It really is a case of we need keys that we haven't gotten just yet to unlock this door, and those keys are all in places we've already been to since we've already run past many of the corpses without seeing their keys. Ugh. The first Metroid Prime had the good manners to only force us to look for keys for the absolute final dungeon, and we could collect some of them before we even knew we had to get it. While this game wants us to search for keys for all of them, and makes the largest key search wait until there's nothing left but the final dungeon before we're allowed to start grabbing the damn things. I know I've said before that this game feels like it pads things out to an obscene degree, but I was really hoping they wouldn't pull absolutely every possible trick to slow things down as much as possible. Well, that certainly wasn't in any way properly descriptive. Best I can figure is they mean the arid region somewhere. And apparently the absolute next person is somewhere in the marsh. Bloody hell, at least the text for locations was more descriptive in the first Metroid Prime. Just how many more issues am I going to have with how this game pulls things? I'm sure it's more of a matter of taste than because this game is absolutely poorly thought out or something along those lines. I'm just seeing so many issues with this game that I've got the distinct feeling I'm just getting triggered by things that aren't even that big of a deal this far in. It's just so much less annoying, aside from the more notable boss fights for me to get through this game. It's immersive enough to keep me from getting thrown out of the experience, at least when the controller is in my hands, but unfortunately, my style of coming up with commentary gives me more distance, since, well, when I'm immersed in a game, I'm generally pretty damn quiet, not really able to multitask well enough to do commentary live at all, especially not thought-out commentary. Anyway, since it looks like we're done reading everything in here, and since there's no other doors in this room, time to move on and search somewhere else for some progress. Definitely should have just stayed inside the healing fields until we got to full health again, but I'm getting a bit impatient. And it's hard to feel guilty about that, since the previous 2 clips involved us fighting against a boss in each of them, and then gaining a major upgrade. That sort of thing really makes it easy to feel hungry for more progress. I suppose I'm in no mood to fight against this set of tentacled Ing at the moment, even if that would be a good excuse to stay still long enough to fully heal. Well, at least we're gaining health at a good rate, even if I'm just so hungry for progress that I'm letting this guy keep burning us, instead of just staying still for a good amount of time. Right, back in regular Aether. Okay, I think I see one possible place to be, but that's a long ways from here. And the path to get there seems like it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. really can't help feeling that the areas we had to go through in the first Metroid Prime were less annoying to actually move through. Looks like I'm going through the central area just to be able to get to a different part of the central area right now. Right, open the door, then get to the elevator to the other side of it. According to the raw footage, there's a save point on the other side soon, but that's not where I'm gonna end this clip. Considering the amount of time I'm wandering around, trying to find a way to make progress, I can easily include the next bit of raw footage. As tempting as it is to take a break here and now in terms of commentary, I already made the previous clip pretty damn short. I'm making up for that by making this clip longer, even if there's not really all that much going on as far as I can tell. As a side note, I'm kind of annoyed that little bastard respawned just because I loaded the game. It's not a big thing, but hey, I'm feeling irritable right now. I've got to vent somehow, and shooting at recurring enemies isn't doing it for me. Okay, that's not even where I was trying to go before I saved. Apparently I didn't leave myself a note about my plans at the time I saved there. Not that I'm all that sure my plan last time was going to lead me anywhere important. I'm just grasping at straws here. Can you blame me, considering how many times in this series I've been pretty damn aimless as I try to figure out what specific route leads to the next major upgrade or other important item. Right, from one elevator to another, and no idea if I'm heading in the right direction or not. Well, the map certainly isn't feeling all that helpful to me here. How much of that is the game's fault for having iffy level design, and how much is my fault for not being drawn to the right spots on the map? Hell, maybe it's just a fault of the Metroid Prime games in general, since I recall having some measure of annoyance with reading the maps in the first Metroid Prime as well. It just feels easier to orient myself and notice things on a 2D map instead of a 3D one. I get that Metroid Prime is where they do things in a 3D way in just about every way, but still, yeah, I'm kind of just bitching for the sake of bitching right now. It's not like I've got anything else to do with what we've got right now and where I am. Always an issue when I'm wandering around with no idea what to do at the moment. Wasn't expecting to find anything in this boss fight room, but it was worth a look. We might gain something here the moment we gain the spider ball, but since we don't, then coming here was a waste of time. Yes, we're already well aware that we need keys to open this temple, and we're going to need some to open the next one as well. Okay. So the game's hint system just said we need to go to the dark version of this same room, which is blocked by a yellow door that we can't get through at this time. Maybe on the way there we can find, the way to open that type of door? It's as good a thing to hope for as anything else at the moment. Time to head to the nearest portal we can actually reach and see if there's anything that can be done, or if the game's hint system skipped a step or two. Great. So the nearest portals are in spots we need the spider ball to reach. That's about as useful as the yellow doors, really. And good God, the yellow doors are probably going to be unlocked with the power bomb, something that is generally around the last upgrade we gain in one of these games. At least assuming that the yellow doors in this game are unlocked by the same tool as the yellow doors in all the other Metroid games we've gone through so far. After all, the green, red, and blue doors have all worked the same, regardless of if you're talking about the 2D or 3D Metroid titles. Though I suppose the purple doors have changed what opens them in this game. Here, it's the multi-missile thing. In the previous Metroid Prime, it was the electrical gun. Right, so that's the path to the chamber with the door that we can't get through right now. I'm kind of hoping we find the means to open that door on the way there, but considering it's all explored ground, I somehow doubt it. So yes, the in-game tips seem pretty damn useless. I'm trying to remember if the previous Metroid Prime had any moments where the in-game tips led us to effectively a dead end, since we didn't have the tools available to get from multiple different angles, but it's hard for me to say since that was a rather long game in its own right, and unfortunately things from that game are blurring together with bits from this game in my mind. Really, the two defining features of this game are that it's got an alternate version of the same world that tries to be harder, and Dark Samus is here instead of Ridley. Yeah. Okay, so I can't get through in this direction for some reason. I suppose that was just wishful thinking, not that I know if the wishful thinking would have actually gotten us anything at the moment. Right, so we have to fight these pirates again in the same damn room. I'm definitely not feeling it here. And that does it. Both of them are dead again, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to kill them again for a third time before we get to save. Did those guys die faster than they did the previous time we fought them in this same room with the same weapons? Or am I losing my mind a bit? Really wish I could feel confident we're about to make progress after all this. Right. Doesn't seem to be anything we haven't seen around here before. Right. Kinda forgot that the tentacled bastards tend to spawn up here. Bloody hell. The memory issues I have probably won't feel like issues if it wasn't for the kind of game we're going through right now. I just hope that when we finally get to Metroid Prime 3 that I won't feel like such an absolute idiot, but maybe that's just wishful thinking considering how I felt for most of the Metroid games. Right. Doesn't look like there's anywhere for us to go from here, and I certainly don't see any obvious devices for us to interact with. Right. Didn't think there was anything in this turning all the way thing that I missed, but it was worth checking. I'm not even sure why I bothered to jump down here, since we've got nothing that can actually get through the yellow door. I'm just grasping for something to do when there's nothing obvious for us to do at this point. And outright pissed that the game decided to tell us to go to a place that we have no apparent means to reach at this stage of the game. At the very least, I think I have a case that this game has a problem with conveyance. I know how to use the tools in this game, and I know the rules of the game. After going through 7 other Metroid games, I should certainly hope I know the song and dance by now, but I just do not know how to make any progress at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if I decided to just check an online guide, since the in-game hint system is of no help right now. Well, time to pack it in and call it a clip. I hope me stumbling around was at least a little entertaining. I also hope we get back on the road to progress in the next clip.